Hi everyone and welcome to Club 4 episode 6 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So a few things have happened in terms of our schedule since you and I were together, and we've played several games. Well, hasn't always gone that brilliantly, to be honest. You can see that we went out in the League Cup against Arsenal. And then we lost against Manchester United in the Manchester derby 1-0. You can see that we lost to a single goal to Marino 25 minutes in. We just couldn't break them down. It was really frustrating. We had the best of the game, absolutely. We dominated possession, had a load more attempts than they did. But we just couldn't find a way to break through. And so in the end, we had to just settle for the fact that we got beaten 1-0 and we could never quite get back into the game. Around that, though, form has been pretty good. We went through with no issues in the Europa League. Topped the group, 6 out of 6 wins, 19 goals scored, none against. It was a fantastic route through. We don't know who our opponents are yet for the second knockout round. We qualified straight to the second knockout round, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that just at the moment, but we will let you know when we know. And yeah, so it just means that the Premier League form has been a little bit up and down, but not too bad. But unfortunately, we've lost a little bit ground. Now, we are 2 games behind Liverpool. They've played 20, we've only played 18. Our form is very good, as you can see, mostly. But we now sit 14 points behind them because of those 2 games. If we were to win those 2 games, we'd only go within 8 of them. So you can see that they have pulled away. That Manchester United loss has really scuppered us a little bit. And you can see that the teams below us are beginning to creep back at us a little bit. Arsenal sitting 3 points away from us on the same amount of games played. So, yeah, there's some challenging days to come, I think, in this Premier League season before all's said and done. We've still got an absolute shout. Of course, if we win our 2 games in hand, go 8 points behind Liverpool, it's still going to be really tough to reel them in. We played them in the last game of the season, but by then, if we're not within touching distance, we can't do anything about it. So there's some very important games to come. We've got a Stoke City FA Cup third round tie to come as well in the new year. And we sit on the very last game of the year of 2031, which has been a great year overall for us, taking over at Man City. But the last game of 2031, we got Leicester City. Then I will be going through the transfer window, the January transfer window, and come back and play the Manchester derby in early February as our next episode and catch you up on everything that's happened in the FA Cup, in the Premier League, in the transfer window. Hopefully by then we'll have the possibly have the Europa League second round opponents sorted out. I'm not 100% sure, but we should do by then. So there'll be lots to catch up on next episode. But you can see, as I say, since we were together for the Derby County match, we played a load of games. We got some very good wins, some in the Premier League, some in the Europa League. Couple of minor blips against Arsenal and Man United. And now we play Leicester City. And if we go back to the competition page, just to check out where Leicester are, they're sitting in 9th place on 32 points. We're in 2nd on 41. They've played their 19th. This is our 8. We've played 18. So, yeah, we're above them in the league quite considerably. And therefore, I would expect to win today. Having said that, we do rotate the side a little bit today. We've got a couple of injury issues, primarily in this left fullback position. Both Cooper and Cruz, our starting fullbacks on the left side, are both out. They've been out for a little while as well, which has been difficult. Jackson has come in, youngster, 20 years old, playing primarily in this squad because of his homegrown qualities, not necessarily because he's the complete finished article yet, but he's having to deputise over on that left side. You can see he can just about play it. He's accomplished in it rather than natural, so he's doing a reasonable job out there, but it's not ideal not to have either of our starting left fullbacks in and around the team. Also today, we've got Foden, who's now out for 2 to 4 weeks. He picked up a twisted ankle, and so he's going to be a huge miss moving forward. McCann comes back into the side because of that miss. And we've rotated a couple of others out onto the bench today just to protect fitness a little bit going into a fairly busy New Year period. So the likes of Romario come in for Rivero. We've obviously got Jackson in. We've got Victor in instead of Camavinga. We've got Ortega in instead of Malt. Obviously McCann is in for the injured Foden. And Univar comes back into the team just to protect Cesar a little bit, who is doing fantastically well for us, Cesar. But he is only 18. I want to protect him a little bit, and occasionally Univar is going to have to demonstrate that at 28 he's a better player and should be in this starting lineup. And so far he hasn't managed to do it, but he gets another opportunity today. So all of that rotation for lots of different reasons means that we've got a starting 11 today for the game against Leicester City of Helber in goal, Romario and Gray in central defence, with Magnoni on the right side of defence, Jackson at left full-back, Victor, Ortega and McCann in central midfield, with Olart on the right, Univar on the left and Vasic up top, with a bench of Rivero, Cork, Camavinga, Malt, Villegas, Cesar and Gibbons. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So assertively, I've told them that we are a second in the recent standings of form, and Leicester are in 14th in their standings for form currently. So we should be winning this game, and I expect you to do so. There was a long free kick right into the hands of the goalkeeper from Leicester into Helber's hands with no problems. Went over the top of everybody there. So can we now start our own attack right from the defensive area and see if we can get something from this particular opportunity? Down the left-hand side, Univar, the much maligned Univar, hasn't done well enough this season. Average rating of 6.75 or something. He needs to show up in these games to continue to be in this squad. I could even potentially sell him in January if I chose to, if there was a good option out there to buy in instead. But it's Olart on the ball, McCann on the follow-up, having had a good couple of efforts there. It's gone out for another corner kick for us, and the goalkeeper eventually parries it over the top and now comes springing out of his goal to claim that corner kick very nicely indeed. Simon, the goalkeeper for Leicester, fantastic claim there. But we had put the pressure on a little bit, which is fantastic to see. Leicester go long. We get a header on the ball from Gray, but they win. The Cooper on the right-hand side for Leicester City wins the ball, comes into the penalty box, has a bit of a wayward shot really, and just about gets it over the top by the goalkeeper. And there's a Leicester City corner, so they've turned the tide a little bit, but there is a response from our keeper to theirs, comes out and claims the ball very, very nicely. They're having an awful lot more of the ball than I want them to have, and they've had an awful lot more of the goals now that I want them to have. There was a good run down the left-hand side. Turner was ready inside the penalty box for Leicester City. You see the ball over the top. Ulysses gets there first, and there's an absolute nightmare for Gray in the centre of the defence. And he seems to have had a bit of a shove against him, possibly. But it wasn't spotted by the referee. And Leicester go one up. And now there's a second free kick for them here. And we get it partially cleared to Turner on the edge of the box. They keep it very, very well. Then Univar gets a foot in and Vasic holds the ball up very nicely, runs round the defender down this right-hand side, gets into the box. And are we going to get something for it, or was he looking for it? What does the referee say? The referee says penalty kick to Man City. So we get a chance from Vasic from the spot to get back. And we do. Puts it home nicely. The goalkeeper went the right way, but a very good quality finish by Vasic, who's doing brilliantly for us this season. Right into that bottom corner, just outside of the reach of the goalkeeper. And we go 1-1 after 24 minutes. So quite a jam-packed opening to this particular fixture. And again, it's Leicester City down that far side with a corner kick. And again, they've found a way through to goal. And it was a weak goal to give away, really. Right off the corner kick, there was a bunch of Leicester City players that didn't seem to be being marked particularly well. A couple of them in there at the back post, and we didn't get up well enough as a defensive unit, and they go 2-1 up after half an hour. Not impressed by this. We're going to pause the game, go into our tactics, and we're going to switch it up. And we're obviously leaving ourselves too open at the back somehow, so we're going to switch back into the asymmetric style. I've got a couple of things I need to change here for a couple of players playing slightly out of position just to get them back in the right position for it. So we're going to put him into the no-nonsense fullback, just because he's playing out of position. Don't want him to have a problem there. Olart on 74% conditioning as well. Might have to take him out sooner or later. But that's going to be the setup for the remainder of this half. Let's see if we can find a way. I always press that button, and that one, when I'm trying to get to the shouts. This drop-down menu always comes along and causes me all sorts of problems. But let's go in for the shout and demand more. We're not going to get much out for that last bit of the first half. And it was really disappointing, and it felt like I was in complete disarray towards the last few minutes of the game, pressing wrong buttons and not doing the right thing. So we need to take a deep breath, go in at half time and do something about this. So what we're going to do, aggressively, where's your passion? Not good enough, but then we're going to rebuild them. That's got them motivated. I want them fired up if possible, passionately. I believe you've got what it takes. We're going to do that for each of the sections and then see if we can get a fantastic response from them in the second half. So that fired a few people up, made a few people motivated, gained a confidence here and there, and I expect them to perform, although I am going to take Olart out of the game. He's obviously dropped off on fitness for one reason or another, and we need to protect him. We've got a lot coming up over the January sort of New Year period. So that's what we're going to go in with the second half for. Villegas down that right-hand side, playing the asymmetric formation. See if we can keep the ball better. Let's see what the ball possession stats are like. We're below them in the ball possession stats. So we need to get that back, wrestle the game from them, but it's not working. It's absolutely not working, and we can't allow that to go for too long. So at 63 minutes with nothing happening in the game, we're going to have to change some personnel. Unavart again. I think he might go in January. I'm so fed up of him not performing well. For such a good all-round player, look at these attributes for an inside forward player. And he's just not doing it for me at all. So he might be on his way. Cesar comes back into the team. We've got one more to make. Vasic has done well for us, so we won't take him out. I think what we're going to do is put... we're going to have to put Rivero back into the defence and just get him to secure the ship a little bit at the back, I think. That's what I want to do. We changed a few personnel for this game. They were sitting in mid-table Leicester City on poor form, really, and it just has backfired on me, and that's unfortunate. We've got 10 minutes to go, so again, we're going to go into the shouts, and we're just going to get them to push forward, and we're going to change them into very attacking for the last few minutes. Can we eke out an opportunity? One chance, please? And we don't. And I reckon, it might be bold to say at this point, but I reckon that's our title prospects done. I think to now have all of those points between us and Liverpool might be the nail in our coffin for this season already, and we're only at the back end of December. That is so poor, just when you need them to show up, and they haven't at all, aggressively. That is not good enough. There's no excuses for that. That motivated them, so I should think so too. Really disappointed. I know that I made changes. I know that you'll have a go at me in the comments below for making so many changes in one go or whatever it will be, but I did it for the best of reasons. I thought that it was a team that we could put out and win the game, and they just didn't do it. They didn't play well enough. There was nobody that took the game by the scruff of the neck, and Leicester just dominated it really from start to finish in terms of possession of the football and decent chances. It's just one of those days. So what does that do for us? We are now sitting one game behind Liverpool. So we've got a potential 3 points that we can pick up on them. And we are still 14 behind them. That's it. I really genuinely think that's it. I don't see how we can reel them in, but we're going to give it a good go. And what we ultimately need to do is finish in this top two, really, having been there for so long, and try and put as much pressure on as we can and try and appease the board that we haven't actually won the competition. Of course, the other things that we can do to please the board are things like winning the Europa League, which they want us to do, and doing well in the FA Cup. So a little bit of our focus will probably turn to that over the coming weeks. There's the Leicester game. So what have we got coming up? We have that Stoke City game in the FA Cup. We've got Newcastle, Palace, Arsenal, Chelsea, Birmingham, Tottenham. Difficult month in January, isn't it? Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham all in there to play in the Premier League. Then we'll come back after the January window and we will join together for the Manchester derby away from home. Can we get revenge on what on what United did to us most recently? Can we get our own back on them there? You'll have to join me for the next episode for that. Today though, yep, sometimes I claim I'm a tactical genius when I get things right. Today, I got it wrong. The team structure was bad. The wrong formation, the wrong team sheet. It didn't work. And we now struggle to find a way to get back at Liverpool. Well, we'll have to see what we can do. So join me next episode to see how this big run of fixtures through January has gone. See if we've managed to get a couple out and a couple in maybe in the transfer market. We've got plenty of money to spend. We've just got to find the right players to do. And Unavar might have just sealed his fate with that performance again today. He might be on his way. So join me next episode for a transfer window roundup and all of the action that's gone on since in the January period. But until then, thank you for joining me today. I feel all flustered by the fact that we did so poorly, but there we go. Thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. If you have enjoyed this episode by watching me make a hash of it, then click that like button and help me get seen by lots of other people. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.